Hey guys, my name's Andrew, you're watching Tonkus League Gaming, and in today's video I'm joined by Dakota. Say hi, Dakota.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to be going over the banned and restricted list for Magic the Gathering. And yeah, so without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get right into the list. So the new companion rule is once per game, anytime you could cast a sorcery during your main phase when the stack is empty, you can pay 3 generic mana to put your companion from your sideboard into your hand. This is a special action and not an activated ability. So let's start with the first reason why I think companions are extremely broken is that they have a fixed point on their curve every game. This change doesn't do that because even though you're paying three mana more, it's still a point on your curve that's always there and that never goes away. Now, it's 3 mana more, so it's later on in the game, but it's still there. The second problem is that you can't Thoughtseize it. I think that they should have made it to where you should have started with a 6-card hand and then put the companion into your hand once you reveal it as your companion. So you basically start with a 7-card hand like normal instead of 8. And the third thing is that it's an extra card in your hand, like we said before, where you have this instant card advantage that already starts the game off for you winning the game. And against some decks like Thoughtseize heavy decks, it's really difficult to play without a companion because you're already starting out losing because you're trying to 1-for-1 your opponent, and that's you're never going to win if you don't play a companion, if you don't have that 8th card in your hand. However, I'm still open to the idea. So with all that being said, kind of going on what I was saying, let's go ahead and get your opinion. What do you think of this companion rule?
It's definitely something. Something definitely needed to change with the companions, because this has just been so format warping over every single format, and I've never seen anything like this before. So this is a much needed change. I'm just worried that it's not going to be enough. I think it will be with some of these companions, like Luris and Umori and Obosh, the decks that really want to hit their companion on curve, because sometimes that companion can be detrimental to their games.
Mm-hmm.
And this is definitely going to hurt some of those. Gyruda, it's definitely going to affect that. Yorin, not so much. And the other ones aren't played too much. Kahira is played a little bit, and I've seen some Jagantha decks, but you're not really seeing Karuga, Lutri, or Zerda played a whole lot. So some of these companions are going to be more affected by this rule than others. But this is, I think, a good start.
Yeah.
I know this hits Arena on the 4th, so when this hits, then we'll be able to see a little bit more of how this affects the gameplay.
At least in standard.
At least in standard, right. But I would have gone more with something of your approach, where you do only keep 6 cards in your hand and say this is the 7th. Now, this does give players the opportunity to be able to Thoughtseize it out of your hand if you're not putting it into your hand and playing it the same turn.
Right.
But it's a little bit more unlikely.
Yeah, and I think you hit a point, really a good point, where the lower curved decks that were playing companions are hurt a lot about this because you're just not going to play a companion that costs 5 mana in your burn deck. You're just not going to, or sorry, 6 mana in your companion, like your burn decks, because you're trying to win the game before you ever have 6 lands on the battlefield. So
right, and you're not
looking
to just waste a turn, like turn 3 or your turn 4, putting Luris into your hand. You're gonna try to establish your board state, kill your opponent as fast as possible.
Yeah, I mean, play a burn deck or any aggro deck spending 3 mana to basically do nothing other than draw a card is a death sentence.
That's not great.
Yeah,
it's not great at all.
Now, I will say, there are 2 decks that I already have in mind that are completely unaffected by this, and that is like for example, the auto-include decks, which I think are one of the biggest problem. Like for example, humans. Humans auto-include Gigantha every single time, regardless of whether you're going to cast it or not. On turn 1,000,000, you still have that 5/5, and that's still not okay. If you go to turn 1,000,000, you should lose the game as a humans deck. You should not have this free card because that's unfair. But that it doesn't solve exactly that problem. Now, another problem is there are some decks that are like, for example, that's an auto include on top of the fact that the 3 generic mana doesn't really bother them. For example, Tron. Tron makes 1,000,000 mana anyways, and having a free win condition, a 5/5 out of nowhere, that is there ready for you to cast it, especially when you don't draw your Karn or your Ulamog or your Wormcool engine, you already have it. And because of that, I feel like for those decks, they're not affected at all. So this might not be enough.
You're right. This might not be enough. So who knows? In another month or two, they see how this change affects companions, and companions might still be maybe not as strong, but still as played as they are now. Then I do think some more changes might be in order.
Right, and who knows? What if M20 or the next set after that releases more broken cards?
Right, like, I mean, these might not be all the companions that we ever see. They might print more of them.
Oh god.
And those companions might be even more busted than these. And some of these are pretty busted.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was some uncommon, if Yorion was a flyer vanilla that did nothing else. That'd be one thing. But why did they also have to blink your entire board?
I know. But at least they banned some cards from that deck, which we will get into very soon.
Loris without companions, I think it's still a super playable card.
Oh, yes. Loris is a very playable card. I played this in draft a few times, and it's still just to have in your deck, just awesome. I mean, now you might not see it as a companion, but you might see it as a 2 or 3 of in your just very low drop deck, and the card could still just win you the game if they don't take care of it.
Right. But that's kind of how we feel about it. As we kind of come to a conclusion with this companion rule, I feel like this is probably not enough, especially if this is the only thing that they're going to do for, the next while. We're still going to see companions. We just agree that the most egregious ones, especially in Modern, as an example, we're not going to see lures everywhere. It's just not going to happen. Like we're not going to see turn 3, Loris Bobble go. We're not going to see that as much. So it's at the very least a step in the right direction. So with that being said, let's kind of go ahead to the standard. I've left a little pause here. Okay. All right. So I left that little pause so that just in case you were talking to somebody, we can. Yeah.
No, Megan just got home, so I just wanted to mute my mic real quick.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead to standard. Now, there are 2 cards that have gotten the axe, and that is...
Thank God.
Agent of Treachery and Fires of Invention.
God bless Wizards of the Coast. You did something right. You did something right.
The same thing happened with Historic. So let's start with Standard. Agent of Treachery, in my opinion, is a perfectly fine ban. I think it's a little weird. I think it might be a Band-Aid. Like, Agent of Treachery is kind of dying for the sins of Luca. Kind of like how some cards, like Justice of Ferocidon, died for the sins of Hazoret, but that's not a best example. But the point is that usually you want to go after the enablers and I feel like Luca was the enabler. Fires of Venture definitely needed to be banned. We'll get to that in a
Oh,
minute.
absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
but Agent of Treachery, I feel like is just the most popular option for sacrificing your Yorion or your token and getting the most busted thing. Like just there were some disgusting plays I've seen where people sacrificed your Yorion or sacrificed a token, got an Agent of Treachery, snatched the land, and then next turn blinked the whole board, stole another land, sacrificed Yorion again after resetting Luca, and then getting another Agent of Treachery. Just, it's so dumb.
Yep,
And we've seen so much of the Fires Luca deck, like everywhere. So,
everywhere.
everywhere. So,
It's miserable.
yeah, and that's kind of leading us to the Fires of Invention ban. I think this probably should have happened earlier because
Absolutely.
yeah, Fires of Invention is just another example of Wizards printing free mana ramp, and free mana ramp is just so broken in Magic, and just so egregious in its power. And honestly, I don't know what else really to say about it. Fires of Invention probably should have gotten the axe a long time ago. And where does this leave Standard? I think one card that I think both of us can agree on that was left out of this ban list was Teferi. Teferi should have gotten the axe. Now, we'll say if Teferi got the axe, they probably should have gotten rid of Wilderness Reclamation because, Wilderness Reclamation is kind of kept in check by 3 Fairy going, ha ha ha, get hosed. But, at the same time, I feel like I would be okay with Teferi and Reclamation going, and then kind of see where we
Me
are
too.
after that.
Me too.
Because
As an aggro player, yeah, I'd like to see those cards go.
yeah, because I feel like aggro is just not good at all in Standard. Because why play fast when you can just go over the top? Why it's just like haha nice nice Ember Cleave, dude. I have a Teferi on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I don't know, man. Like I feel like I get it. This is me putting our tinfoil hat on right now. All right, tinfoil hat time.
Tinfoil hat time.
I think it's because Teferi is going to be the face of M20, and because of
21.
that, it's 21. Because of M21 having Teferi as the face of the set, I feel like it's probably because they want to have the Teferi tribal deck, be everywhere, and everybody has Teferi all over the place. And I feel like that's probably why, but trust me, Teferi's the most powerful planeswalker in existence, besides, Oko? Right now, and, in history, how, is there another planeswalker that has been this playable in so many formats? Maybe Jace?
I was gonna say Jace. Jace was. I didn't play when Jace was a thing, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, I mean, it was just a lot of people just playing blue to just play Jace, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Yeah, I'd say Jace is probably up there because of the Mind Sculptor, but at the same time, we got 5 Fairy, 3 Fairy. They're probably gonna be a uncommon, rare, and mythic that's gonna be busted too. So we'll have to see, but definitely something I wish was included in Standard, but maybe they just need some more sales because of coronavirus. But as far as Historic goes, I am shocked when Noda is not on this list.
Me too.
Dude, I've been playing a lot of Historic, and I feel like Winota is just everywhere on the ladder. I just don't see, I get it, you don't get your Agent of Treachery, but, you just go for the next best thing, which is, Enray's Forerunner? The big boar 7/7?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the next, I mean, sure, getting hit in the face with the giant piece of pork, is giant bacon slapped in the face, is not as scary as getting Stone Rain, but still. We'll have to see with Historic, definitely. We'll have to see with both formats, but at the very least, I think this is definitely a good change for sure. But yeah, with that said, they continue on by talking in depth about Historic, Standard, and all that. And they also said that they will be adjusting the Throne of Eldraine and Core 2020 packets so that Fires of Invention and Agent of Treachery don't appear as often. So, for example, they say after the June 4th, the game update, players will only receive copies of these cards if they have collected playsets of every other standard legal rare card available in the respective boosters. So that way people don't get a ban card. So that's a good thing. I don't know if they did it with other ban cards, but I mean, at the very least, they're doing it now, so that's good.
Yeah.
But in essence, I think that overall, I'm pretty happy with this ban list. I'm happy they're doing something. I also see this as band-aids a little bit too, because I know they don't want to ban Luca. They just released Luca. I know they just release a lot of these cards, and they're doing everything they can to not have these cards be banned.
Right.
But
yeah, I mean, they're the brand spanking new cards. So yeah, of course they don't want them banned quite yet. I mean, it took them a little while for them to ban Oko.
Yeah, exactly. And Oko, wasn't even as bad as this, and you saw how long it took.
Yeah.
As format warping as it was, I don't know, at least, Oko wasn't banned in Vintage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyways, speaking of, by the way, I put Oko in my commander deck. But anyways.
I don't blame you, but of course you did.
Of course I did, right?
I mean, it needs to go, if you have it needs to go somewhere.
Yeah, just like I have my Teferi in there. But anyways. Okay. So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. That's our video, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. So.
Oh, and real quick.
Yeah.
I just double checked. You only have to deal with Teferi till September.
Only till September.
Three more months, my friend. That's all we have.
Then after that, you only have to worry about in Commander. Okay. All right.
It's good thing I don't play Commander very often.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Today's video was brought to you by Mana Traders. Want to keep up with the meta without spending hundreds of dollars on decks? Head on down to Mana Traders and sign up for a rental account, and if you use our affiliate link, you can support the channel as well. So thank you so much for watching the video, and thank you to manatraders.com.